Imagine this. A federal judge black, accomplished, calm gets physically shoved out of her first-class seat by a flight attendant mid-flight, then drenched in spilled water, all while a plane full of passengers stares in stunned silence. Not because she was unruly, not because she was mistaken, but because someone assumed she didn't belong there. Yeah, that happened. And the fallout? Let me tell you, it was anything but quiet. Camille Johnson wasn't new to being underestimated. As a federal judge, she'd spent decades commanding courtrooms, dismantling weak arguments, and defending due process like her life depended on it because, at times, it did. But nothing in her robes and rulings could have prepared her for the humiliation of that flight from New York to D.C., when a flight attendant named Susan Turner looked her in the face and said, "You don't belong here." Camille had the boarding pass. She had the confirmation. She had the seat literally and symbolically. And yet Susan, with a clipped tone and that tight, dismissive smile, insisted otherwise. Told her move. To the back, no less. Camille stayed seated. Calm. Collected. But when she said no, that she wasn't moving, Susan didn't just call security, she lunged, grabbed her arm, and shoved. Camille fell hard. A cup of water someone nearby was holding tipped and splashed all over her. It was like a scene out of some twisted metaphor of respect, drenched, dignity dripping onto the aisle. The cabin went dead quiet. You could have heard a pin drop her, a heart breaking. Camille stood up, wet clothes clinging to her, face unreadable. But this wasn't shame she was wearing. It was steel. She calmly wiped her face, pulled out her phone, and typed a message. Not to complain, not to cry, but to activate backup. You see, Camille knew the law better than most, and she wasn't about to let this go unnoticed. Word spread quickly, first among passengers, then colleagues, then the media. By the time the plane touched down, there were already whispers circling in D.C. Legal circles, and a very nervous Susan Turner being ushered to the back galley like a rookie who realized she'd just fouled the wrong player. Camille didn't scream, didn't demand. She just documented. Because she understood something crucial: silence isn't strength when the system counts on your silence to win. What Susan didn't know was that Camille wasn't alone. A fellow passenger, William Harris, a corporate attorney who'd seen the whole thing, quietly approached Camille after the landing. "I saw it all, and I've seen this play out too many times." He didn't just offer sympathy, offered strategy. And Camille, despite the chill of wet fabric still clinging to her, nodded. "Then let's do something about it." That moment, one black judge soaked and shoved on a plane sparked more than just headlines. It sparked action. Camille filed a formal complaint, then a lawsuit, not just for assault or humiliation, but for systemic discrimination, because, let's be real, this wasn't about a seat. It was about the quiet prejudice that still lingers in spaces where dignity should be assumed, not earned. And then came the twist no one saw coming. A leak. Someone from the airline's legal department released documents trying to discredit Camille, suggesting she was exaggerating, that she was making it political, that her background made her biased. Classic move, right? Discredit the person when you can't discredit the facts. But Camille didn't flinch. She called a press conference the next morning. "This case isn't about me," she told a packed room. "It's about every person who's ever been told subtly or violently that they don't belong. Well, I belong, and I'm not going anywhere." Boom. That day, something shifted. The public saw through the smear. Social media blew up. Hashtags, articles, statements of solidarity from judges, lawyers, civil rights leaders, even a few celebrities. Camille had become the face of something bigger, an unwelcome truth a lot of folks wanted to keep ignoring. The airline tried to settle. Big money. Camille refused. "I'm not looking for hush money. I'm looking for change." And she meant it. She wanted reforms. Mandatory anti-bias training. A transparent reporting system. Accountability for repeat offenders like Susan Turner. And she wasn't asking nicely. Weeks passed. The courtroom battle raged. Susan testified, tears, excuses, stress. The usual. Camille responded not with outrage, but with precision. She recounted every detail, every moment. Not because she needed the jury to believe her, she needed them to see her. The soaked dress, the silence of the passengers, the way Susan's voice dripped with entitlement. She didn't need to raise her voice to make them feel the weight of what had happened. And in the end, the jury didn't just side with Camille, they sent a message. They found the airline guilty of discrimination and awarded damages. But more importantly, the ruling forced the airline to overhaul its policies. Real, binding changes. Not PR fluff. The victory was huge. But Camille knew it was just the beginning. She teamed up with lawmakers to draft new federal guidelines for airlines, pushing for legislation that would make what happened to her nearly impossible to repeat. And as the bill gained support, Camille kept speaking. At rallies, on panels, in courtrooms, in schools. Not for fame, for momentum. Because the real win wasn't in the courtroom, it was in the ripple effect. More people stepping forward, more stories being told, more systems being called out. Camille's fall in that aisle wasn't the end of her journey, it was the start of a movement. And here's the thing, this isn't just her story. It's ours too. Because until we all speak up, until we all demand better, this kind of thing keeps happening. So yeah, she won. But the fight? The real fight, that's still going. What do you think? Was Camille right to push it this far? Should the airline be held responsible for one employee's actions? Or is this exactly what needs to happen for change to begin? Drop your thoughts below, because justice isn't a solo act, it's a chorus.